But first, the issue of race. Now, it wouldn't matter what race people call themselves. Call yourself whatever you like. It wouldn't matter, unless a country was dumb enough to say that people of one race are different and have different rights. And then what people call themselves does matter and affects us all, because a country dumb enough to single out one race and say they have different rights is unfortunately our own. For instance, the High Court last month ruled that Australia effectively has a new law. If you call yourself Aboriginal and can find some real Aboriginals to say that you are, then no immigration minister can ever throw you out of this country. And that counts even if you happen to be a criminal who isn't Australian and wasn't born here. Now, it didn't take long for that very curious race ruling to encourage more people to say they're Aboriginal. In fact, we now have 23 foreign criminals and overstayers who've told the immigration minister, hey, we're really Aboriginal too. And now a lot of real Aborigines have had enough of this farce. Two prominent activists told The Australian this week they've had it with the rise of so many fake Aborigines. One of them is Ann Weldon, who used to be head of the Sydney Metropolitan Land Council, the director there. She said she'd seen lots of people falsely claim to be Aboriginal to get government jobs, university scholarships or public housing that was reserved for real Aborigines. And then there's activist and author Stephen Hagan. He agreed there'd been rorting like this with the help of gullible Aboriginal leaders. And he said people claiming to be Aboriginal should actually at least be able to name an important Aboriginal ancestor. Now, I've long said the same and been given a lot of treatment for it. And I was particularly struck by one name mentioned by Dr. Hagan. He said the debate over so-called Aboriginal historian Bruce Pascoe showed exactly why we needed more checking of such claims. And at that point, I started to wonder whether the national broadcaster, the ABC, might now finally stop defending Pascoe. And please stop attacking me for raising this very debate. You see, for years now, the ABC has promoted Bruce Pascoe as an eminent historian, which I don't believe he is, and an Aborigine, even in videos for schools.
My name's Bruce Pascoe and I'm a Yuin Bunurong and Tasmanian man.
And this year the ABC will present a two-part series starring Pascoe and the bizarre claims in his best-selling book Dark Emu, claims that have virtually zero good evidence to back them up, claims that Aborigines in fact used to be farmers living in towns of 1,000 people, in houses with pens for animals. Now, I've shown you before on this show and in my newspaper columns how Pascoe misquotes his sources or wildly extrapolates from them. So I won't go over that again. Let me just focus here instead on his claim to be Aboriginal. Now, Pascoe, as you heard in that clip, claims he's Aboriginal through at least 3 different tribes: the Yuin from New South Wales, the Boonwurrung from Victoria, and an unspecified tribe from Tasmania. But Aborigines from those tribes or areas say he's not one at all. For instance, Michael Mansell, head of the Aboriginal Land Council of Tasmania, says Pascoe has no Aboriginal heritage, or not Tasmanian Aboriginal heritage, and his claim is absurd. And Jason Briggs, a lawyer and chairman of the Boonwurrung Land and Sea Council, says we do not accept Mr. Bruce Pascoe as possessing any Boonwurrung ancestry at all, and never did. And then there's the genealogical records of Pascoe's family, records like this collated by the website darkemuexposed.org. They show that every single one of Pascoe's ancestors are actually of British descent, and that includes both his mother's grandmothers, one of whom Pascoe this year claimed was Aboriginal. In fact, one of those great-grandmothers of his, Mrs. Smith, never left England, and the other, Elizabeth Jane Hall, was born to English parents. Now, I've twice asked Pascoe to maybe come on the show and explain if there's a mistake in his records. Could be, might be, but he won't comment or come on. And nor will he tell other journalists who come asking, and not many do, who his real Aboriginal ancestor is.
I've always said that my Aboriginal heritage is a distant one, but I've got birth certificates to confirm it. I'm not going to engage at such a petty level.
So there we are. There's actually zero public evidence that Bruce Pascoe is Aboriginal, and lots of evidence that is not. Yet not one journalist on the ABC, our huge national broadcaster teeming with journalists, not one of them anywhere has dared to suggest that Pascoe is not what he claims to be. Instead, ABC presenters and bosses have lined up to attack me for raising this debate that real Aborigines now say must be resolved. At least 10 of these ABC people have counted, including Virginia Trioli and Wendy Harmer, Benjamin Law, Linda Mottram, Ellen Fanning, Patricia Carvelis, Bhakti Puvanentharan, and Head of Digital Education, Annabel Asprey. For instance, Benjamin Law tweeted that if Andrew Bolt's publicly, well, rude word, essing himself over Pascoe's book, you know it's good, and he urges people to buy it. And Virginia Trioli retweeted a tweet unkindly saying I was just the racist. So, there you have it. In this world, this crazy world of the ABC, we have white journalists insisting that a white man is Aboriginal even when Aborigines say is not, which makes these ABC people, the whole ABC monolith, the new colonialists, neo-colonialists, robbing Aborigines of the very definition of Aboriginal. And they have the hide to say that those who raise these important questions are racists. Well, these hypocrites.